Hey everybody, Pat Cleary here again, back with another episode of the NAPEO News Studio. So I got 3 topics for you today. First, I'm just back from the NAPEO board meeting where they approved the budget for 2023. Second, the elections are finally over, more or less, and we will hear a report from our VP of Federal Government Affairs, Tom Stoller, about how our PAC fared. And finally, it's renewal season. Yay! We'll get to that in a little bit. So first on the budget. The board approved a $10 million budget for us. Amazing. When I first got here 10 years ago, our budget was $4 million. So you see how we've grown. The $10 million budget they approved includes $3.3 million for federal and state government affairs. That includes Melman Castanetti, our federal lobbying firm that you know we've been working with for the last year, most of the last year. They've proven their weight in gold. They've been terrific in terms of forging relationships and helping us make friends on Capitol Hill and in the agencies. It also includes lobbyists in 13 states, dedicated lobbyists that we will have to help us with our issues in all those states. And for the first time ever, we've retained a firm whose wheelhouse is dedicated to insurance regulators. That's all they do, is work with insurance regulators in all the states. So they also will help us forge relationships there where we need them, and where we may run into an issue here or there, they'll help us clear the decks and help us solve any issues or any problems we may face there. On communications, when I arrived, our communications budget was $50,000. This year it'll be $1.5 million. The industry has quadrupled in size over that time. But this year that $1.5 million will be spent on a national ad campaign, on more informational videos, more market research, and white papers that you've come to rely on. And all of that has been helpful, again, in driving the growth in this industry, and we're going to keep our foot on the gas on marketing and communications. Finally, the budget includes an addition of 3 full-time slots here. That's a big increase in bandwidth for us. We've got 18 people. That'll take us to 21. So first, we will add another director of federal government affairs to help Tom wear out the shoe leather on Capitol Hill. We're going to hire a director of communications to work with Carrie and Roch and getting our propaganda out there to all corners of the globe. And last but not least, we'll hire a member services coordinator to work with you, the members, on the full array of services available to you here at NAPEO. So next, let's talk about the PAC. As I said, the election we think is finally over. I don't know about you, but I got a little tired of the campaign ads. But our PAC had a pretty good run. I won't steal his thunder. So let me turn to our Federal Government Affairs VP, Tom Stoller, to talk to us about how our PAC fared in this last election. Tom?
In 2007, NAPEO formed a political action committee so that the members of NAPEO could donate to congressional campaigns. They also created, with the PAC committee, a governance structure, and the governance structure is a PAC committee chairman and PAC committee members. They are all chosen by the board of directors, and these individuals approve all donations to congressional candidates. The PAC is not a partisan PAC. We don't give to Republicans or Democrats based on party label. Instead, we give to candidates who are in a position to help promote the PEO industry and support its mission. In this election cycle, the NAPEO PAC has been quite successful. Over the course of 2021 and 22, the PAC raised almost $220,000, far and away the largest amount of money that has ever been contributed to the PAC by NAPEO members. And the PAC also approved contributions of about $140,000 to 43 separate candidates. And of those 43 candidates, 42 won re-election, only 1 lost. Of this group, there's one in particular that we're all pretty proud of. Her name is Erin Houchin. She is from the 9th District of Indiana, and she won election, and she is a freshman. And what makes her unique from all the others is we believe she is the first person elected to Congress who actually worked for a PEO. We don't think there's anybody else. We've checked and we think she's it. As the election season winds down, the next step that the PAC has to take at the end of every year is to get companies to renew their PAC solicitation form. Now, the PAC solicitation form is something all companies who want to participate in the PAC must sign. The PAC is an opt-in system. And when your company signs the PAC solicitation form, that allows the PAC to communicate with your senior employees, and more importantly, it allows us to fundraise from those employees. Without that, we cannot really do much other than talk about what the PAC does. We would ask you all, as you are renewing your membership, to please sign your PAC solicitation form so we can continue to grow the PAC and support those candidates who support the PEO industry.
And last but not least, it's renewal season. Yay! So by now you should have already heard from us, at least got an email or a letter from us reminding you to come online and renew. So every year I hear from members who say, hey, my dues went up. I have the same answer. Congratulations. So if your company grew, your dues are going to grow, and that's good for you and it's good for us. And here's what we're going to do with that money. You know, during the pandemic, so many of you heard from your clients, thank you. Thank you for keeping us alive. And you did. You kept hundreds of thousands of small businesses alive out there. And in turn, we heard from you. Thank you for keeping us alive through the pandemic. And we are there for you and we'll be there for you at every turn. Hopefully not another pandemic this year. But here's what we're going to do with your money. You already heard us talk about the board meeting and the budget that got passed and where we're going to spend that money on federal and state government affairs and communications and on some new staff here at headquarters. But the ERTC isn't going away. We will continue to fight those battles for you here on Capitol Hill and with the IRS. You know, there was some very harmful legislation introduced last year in Georgia and in Florida on workers' comp. We were able to blunt both of those, but they'll be back. They're not gone for good. We work with our partners at NAPEO, and we work with you, our members in Georgia, to blunt both of those, and we're going to keep up that fight this year because it will be back. Finally, we've got state laws, or some version of our state act in 43 states. California is the jewel in the crown. That's the one that's still an outlier. And we are committing resources and funds and people to get a bill passed in California, and the push begins this year in earnest, and we won't quit until it's done. You get the whole array of education here on all the issues that you work on, HR, cyber, communications, finance, etc. That will continue. Our regulatory database, you started in one state and now you're in 20, you never expected it. That regulatory database is completely invaluable to you. We hear that all the time, and that will be there for you as part of your dues, obviously, that you pay to us. And last but not least is certainly the Marcom resources, marketing communications. We see it through social media, we see the shares, we hear from you in terms of the videos that you're using, the materials that we crank out that you are using and repurposing. That's fantastic. All the white papers, the research that we've done that show the empirical benefits to small and mid-sized businesses of using a PEO. We know that your salespeople are out there blanketing the country with that data and ringing up sales as a result, and we will keep that up. So lots of reasons to continue your membership. Every dollar that you give us will be put back into growing this industry, promoting the industry and removing roadblocks to growth. And you have our commitment on that. So don't forget to renew. So that'll do it for this episode of NAPEO News Studio. The NAPEO family here wishes you and your family a happy and healthy and safe holiday season. We will see you after the first of the year. Thank you.